So welcome to our final week of the on-air series for the Citi Business Festival. This is our fourth week actually, and we're focused on innovation, technology, and the future of work. Today we're discussing the fintech revolution. Indeed, fintech payments and the cashless economy transforming the way we live. My guest is a man who is very core to the operations of one of Ghana's most important companies. He'll be helping us appreciate where this transition is and how that's changing not just our work, but our life. Stay with us.
You need a bigger space to grow your business. You need to be ready for any season.
You need faster checkouts for these busy days.
You need more equipment to meet demand.
You need to make sure everyone gets paid on time.
In business, you need advice, solutions, and sector expertise when it matters.
Your new office space looks great. What's next?
We get it. Absa Business Banking.
So the Citi Business Festival is brought to you by 97.3 Citi FM and Channel 1 Television in partnership with Absa Bank, and is proudly sponsored by MTN, Petra Trust, and Zonda Tech Ghana Limited. So this episode, we're examining how fintechs and digital payments are changing the way we live and work. My guest is the Chief Commercial and Operations Officer, I say, of one of Ghana's most important companies, because 20 years ago, this company didn't even exist in the form in which it does. But right now, it's doing some amazing things. This is, of course, MobileMoney Fintech Ltd. Abdul-Razak Ali, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Do you take the accolade that you're one of Ghana's most important companies?
We think we are part of an ecosystem of important businesses in Ghana.
Usually, when I ask people, where is Ghana in the cashless journey, they say, no, it's not cashless, it's Cash-Lite. So let me ask the question the way industry people want me to ask it. How is Ghana progressing in its quest to be Cash-Lite?
Yeah, thank you, Bernard, for the question. I think Ghana is actually doing quite well in our journey when it comes to progressing into the Cash-Lite economy and Cash-Lite ecosystem. We started this journey for us, it's 16 years now. But again, Ghana through the banks had started the journey quite a while back. But we've made a lot of progress, right? Especially when it comes to inclusion, where we actually, if you look at the numbers, almost 80% of the population currently have access to account to some form of transaction digitally, which is quite good. We've also done quite well in terms of digitalizing the ecosystem, not just us as a company, but with the likes of GIPS, with the likes of all the payment services, PSPs that we have in the economy. Right, the Bank of Ghana also steering with some regulations to guide the way we are moving. But yes, Ghana, I would say, is currently a hybrid economy where we have very good portions of digital financial transactions, but we still have some ways to go. Right. I think currently in Africa, we are ranked, IFC did some analysis where Ghana is actually ranked number 3 in the world when it comes to transactions as a ratio of GDP that are digital. China is number 1, Kenya is number 2.
Oh, we are number 3 in the world?
In the world.
I thought Africa.
Wow. Yes.
So yes, China number 1, Kenya number 2.
Yes. And then Ghana number 3. Now that says quite a lot, but there is still a lot of work to be done, right? Again, because we are at about 82% of digital transactions as a ratio to our GDP. However, again, our GDP is not also a full metric to measure Cash-Lite and cashless, right? So for us, we do surveys to understand, especially within the payment ecosystem, what is the ratio of cash versus digital payments, right? And it's quite good. It's quite healthy. It's growing. But we would say we are about a 50-60% cashless economy versus cash. Like if you look at digital payment versus cash. Yeah. So we are doing quite well. We are on the journey.
It seems to me our high ranking will be attributable more to the inclusion part, which is
Yes.
why you said GDP may not be the best.
Yes.
There may be other metrics to check.
Yes.
You know how when we're looking at debt in economics, we will say debt to taxes, debt to GDP, debt to whatever. So if you use other metrics, then there's still some work to be done, correct?
No, there are. I mean, look, so for us, we will actually look at, the cash-light economy from different aspects of the economy itself, right? You would look at payment as one part of the economy, but even under payment, you look at cross-border, where currently there's not a lot of, digital transactions, especially from the wallet side, from cross-border. You'd also look at lending, you would look at, B2B payments, you would look at even the SME, which is the foundation of the Ghanaian economy. And you would say, look, there are certain parts of the economy beyond just access that we are actually doing quite well. Right. I mean, even if you look at the utility side, Ghana is doing quite well with the ECG and what Habtel is doing on that side. And then if you look at Ghana Water as well. So we are making inroads, apart from just access into actually digitalizing parts of the economy. But there is still ways to go, especially when it comes to rural, especially when it comes to certain demographics in terms of acceptance, and understanding of digital payments beyond just transfers, beyond just store value, but also acceptance.
Interesting. The theme for this week is innovation, technology, and the future of work. All right. And we talk about Ghana's digital transformation journey. First question within that area, how critical is digital financial systems to our digital transformation journey? So I want you to deal with the finance part of digital transformation, and I'll come to the Momo side of digital finance, if you understand where my mind is. So let's deal with, so we talk digital transformation of an economy. Is digital finance the most critical part of the digital transformation, or are there others?
I would say it's an integral part of it, right? It's there are various facets of digitalizing the economy, right? But it's I mean, finance by the nature of it, right? It's a big part of everything we do, right? The economy itself is based on the financial ecosystem that we have. So it's hand in hand. But again, when we say finance, right, it's also the rails, right? It's a technology that you create to be able to enable that finance aspect of it. It's also the regulation, right? It's having the right regulation. It's having the mindset, the education, right? So for people to understand the various concepts that is coming through. So, it's all encompassing, right? You can have one part and not have the other, and you will not have, the cocktail that you need for everything to actually come into place.
But you certainly said mobile money has become the most important part of digital finance. That is without doubt, correct?
No, I would say we are one of it,
Okay.
right? I would say, yes, definitely, a big part of it. But I would say we are one of it. I mean, I would say another big part of it would be gifts. Right. And the ability to make payment across different platforms, and what that has done to actually, facilitate the enabling of the ecosystem. Another big part of it is the payment, service providers, right? Or the PSPs, right? They do a good job in customizing for specific industries, right? Where sometimes we would be, looking at, more of the masses. They can look at niche environments and actually customize the needs and technology for those niche environments. So and you can also talk about the people doing the scoring and bringing digital lending into that space, right? So yes, we serve as a platform for everybody to enable everybody. But I would say, it's a whole ecosystem, and that ecosystem works together to actually drive the journey or the financial journey that we are on.
This is the Citi Business Festival. Our on-air series this week is focused on innovation, technology, and the future of work. Our focus today is on fintech payments and the Cash-Lite economy. My guest is Abdul-Razak Ali, who is the Chief Commercial and Operations Officer for the company we now call MMF, MobileMoney Fintech. They've come a long way. We've been thinking of different names of calling them. We used to call them MMFSL. Now it's just MMF. All right. When we come back, we'll find out which sectors have been most transformed by digital finance and what other opportunities exist, particularly for small businesses, to use digital finance to change the way they work and also expand the scope of opportunities. Stay with us.
Good business means seeing the possibilities, and maximizing opportunities. Making sure you have a responsive support system backs your business goals. A partner that gives you a stable platform with reliable connectivity and seamless solutions, and better understands the tools required to take you to the next level. With so many moving parts in running a business, we do our best to provide you with some stability. The only kind of stability you can find with MTN Business Broadband, the fastest and most reliable internet provider in Ghana, making sure you stay ahead and stay connected, because we understand what makes your business tick.
Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh or call or WhatsApp 0244 308 111.
MTN.
Looking for power, performance, or pure driving comfort? Looking for strength for your business or style for your lifestyle? Welcome to Zondatech Ghana Limited, your one-stop automobile shop. From heavy-duty trucks built with global powerhouse Sinotrack to premium SUVs and pickups from Great Wall Motors and Cherry. From light-duty commercial trucks to world-class construction equipment from Shantui and Sunny Group, Zondatech delivers top-most quality brands with affordable luxury. Zondatech gives you power, prestige, and performance all in one place. Strong, reliable, affordable. Zondatech Ghana Limited. Drive the future. Call Zondatech on 050-177-2222 or 050-177-3333.
Welcome back. This is the on-air series for the 2026 Citi Business Festival, brought to you by Citi FM and Channel 1 Television in partnership with APSA. Sponsors are MTN. We also have Petra Trust and Zondatech. My guest this morning is the Chief Commercial and Operations Officer of MMF. That's the name now. MMF is Abdul-Razak Ali. And today we're just reflecting on how fintech, payments, and the Cash-Lite economy is changing business. Which industries or types of companies or sectors would you say have benefited most from this digital financial revolution?
Yeah, I mean, look, let me start by actually saying that at the heart of this whole evolution is really to transform the way people do business for the better, right? It's not just to transform for transformation's sake, but it's to make impact, right? So a lot of what you would see us do within the various sectors will touch on how we transform that business for the better of the people within that sector. I'll touch on let me just pick two sectors, right? The first one I'll pick is your SMEs, right? Your simple, mom and pop shop across the corner, right? And a lot of them, one of the biggest challenges was cash management.
Yes.
Right? And theft, right? Theft from, the attendants, that usually are managing and the cashiers and all of that stuff. Right. And they will tell you, right, that again, with digital finance, right, they can track every payment. They know the ins and outs, right? And we actually also have a solution, a till solution where actually your attendants will not have money to the cash that comes into the account, right? You have the access to the account. So we actually try to tailor make our solutions to serve these people. I would say, look, we have a lot of stories about how we've helped a lot of, these small, medium-sized enterprises to actually, be better at managing the deficiencies of cash and the challenges of cash. Another industry I would touch on would be, lending, and how we've actually been able to, through, having people have a digital financial footprint, have them have access to lending, right? Yeah. In the past where you needed to have like a big asset to be able to secure a loan, people would have, a lot of people gonna get loans, right? Because the banks didn't have anything to score them on. With digital finance and what we do at MMF, now that is there, right? The scoring and the accessibility to actually get funds. And you'd be surprised about how many people actually use these funds, again, back to the SMEs, to actually help with their businesses, more of an overdrive type of service to be able to actually, when they need cash, use it, turn their business around, pay back, and then move on. So yes, there's quite a lot.
I'll tell you something. So in the past, when I close from work and I'm going home, if I wanted to enter a shop to buy something, of course, I would need cash, right? But these days, you can just enter a shop and you just have your phone.
Yeah.
And even if there's no money on your mobile money, you can still take money from your bank.
Exactly.
And my favorite part is when they ask me how I want to pay and I just say, well, let me give you my number. You just punch my number into the system. So all I need to do is to say yes.
Approve.
I mean, it is. Because I don't even want to pay to your Momo. It's too difficult. So basically take my number, put it in the system, ask me a question.
Yeah.
Then I'll say, so you're right. But the challenge I feel is a lot of attendants still, for some reason, some prefer cash. For some strange reasons, like they don't want you to pay with Momo.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's because of the honesty issue or I don't know, whatever that is. Yeah. But let's come to the issue of opportunities, right? Mm-hmm. So yes, we have a good platform to work with. Which other sectors do you see getting transformed as this thing grows?
Yeah. So again, what I will touch on is, before I go into the new opportunities, right, there is still the existing, where we think we can, we are, but we are not fully there yet, right? An example would be even for inclusion on the wallet side, right? There's a big opportunity in the rural side, right? And part of it is driven by, we are technology based on having a telephone, right? And having, a SIM card, a phone, and then the network availability, right? And also, having the access to the Ghana card. Right now, if you go to the rural areas, the penetration of the telephone is quite low. The penetration of even Ghana card ID identification is quite low. So those are parts where, even from an access perspective,
there's still opportunity.
There is still a big opportunity there. And just to throw out some numbers, we have about 90% urban penetration on the wallet, while we are hovering around 50% in the rural areas, right? So you can see there is a big opportunity to transform, the rural sector when it comes to how they perform their transactions, right? Apart from that, right, we can further deepen the cashless or the Cash-Lite ecosystem when it comes to payments, even within payment. As you mentioned, there are some people that are still a little bit skeptic about taking Momo, right? Most people do. But there are still some, nuggets of, and some of it, yes, there are concerns around fraud, and I know we will discuss that. But a lot of it is also, sometimes solving for the niche, I would say use case for some of these guys to come on board. And then there's the obvious, I know, the African Union has been talking a lot about the cross-border and African, free trade, sector. But that would be big, right? That, to be honest, would be big. Not just in terms of digital payment, but even for the economy and the dependency on the dollar and stuff like that, right? So that has the big potential there, but also still lending, right? There is still a lot to be done with lending. There is still a lot, to be looked at from, virtual assets, right? Which again, Bank of Ghana is now looking into with the guidelines that they released. And then even the conversations around open banking, right? So, it's a fast pace. There's still a lot coming. But again, the key to every, what we are trying to do, it goes back to, it has to solve a customer pain point. It has to solve an industry problem. And so all of these are technologies, but it ultimately has to be used to solve a problem for adoption.
On the Africa point, I really see it transforming trade? Because I think earlier in the week I spoke to a bank which had just launched the PAPs on their mobile app. And they were saying that, look, right now, if you have the app and you are in 21 African countries, you don't even need to send. Basically, if you're traveling to any country, if you have their app, you just need your phone. Yeah. I thought that was wild because in the past, we go to Forex bureaus to look for currency. And his point is that, look, now when you are in Uganda or South Africa, you enter a shop, you want to pay, you pay with your CDs, and it translates into the rand. I feel like a lot of people may not be aware that this is so transformational, but for me, it's revolutionary.
No, it is. I mean, we are still at the tip of the iceberg, right? Of what we can do, to be honest, as a continent, with regards to, breaking barriers, trade barriers, with the new technology that's coming, right? And again, there's research out there about how we trade more with even Western countries than we do even with ourselves, right? So yes, I mean, look, the technology is actually there. Regulation is trying to catch up and is trying to, provide a framework for which we can actually transact safely, right? And that's what, to be honest, the industry is waiting for to be able to move.
Let's talk about fraud. I think this month, the Ghana Association of Banks has been advertising and asking people to be very careful. It seems that it's become a challenge, cyber or fraud and different kind of scams. So everybody seems to be getting involved. Just talk to me about how concerning it is and why it's important for people to be educated on the way it happens.
Yeah, look, I mean, we are in a business of trust, right? I mean, the financial sector is all about trust. If people lose trust in the sector, it collapses, right? And fraud or the cyber security, all of those elements is eroding or is the niggling thing around the trust elements, right? Which is the foundation of what we are trying to do. So, I mean, the importance cannot be understated, right? And look, you mentioned GAB. I'm actually very happy when I heard about them doing the campaigns. I mean, you're aware of the last stakeholder forum that we had, where we tried to bring the industry together around the conversations around fraud and what we need to do. We think the more all of us talk about it and try to educate the people, the better. And you mentioned what the importance. I mean, look, we are on a digital journey, right? And because it's a new journey for a lot of Ghanaians, people don't necessarily understand the full scope of what it means, right? And how they can protect themselves. So as industry players, we have to take that onus to do that education, right? We are bringing the technology. We are taking the people on that journey of technology. So we have to. It's our responsibility, right? I mean, yes, ultimately the customer also has to learn. They have to listen and try to protect themselves, but we have to make sure the education and the knowledge is available for them to even learn. And that's it.
I'm sure that they profile you and they it's more like a psychological behavior type of thing where they will call you and stuff. So it looks like you, the leading company within the space, have to do a lot of work just educating people about how I think there's an expression they use. They call it, I forget, something to do with is it behavioral grooming or something? So I don't know what's the word they use for that. How fraudsters manage to succeed.
Yes.
Right.
The social engineering.
Thank you. That's the word. Social engineering. Explain what that means for listeners now, right? How do you ensure that you don't become a victim of social engineering?
So a lot of the time, the fraudsters play on, how do you call it? There's a few things they play on. One of them is urgency. Right. So a lot of the time people would call it like, it's urgent. Like, they play on certain parts of the human psyche, right? One of them is urgency. One of them is, the desire to make a quick buck, right? The desire to make something, like you want something. So they have different tricks that they play, based on, again, playing on the human nature, right? So a lot of the time that's what they'll do. And they'll play around that to try and get you to actually compromise yourself by sharing your PIN, by sharing an OTP, by doing something that gives them access to be able to actually defraud you. Now, what I would say is, and again, we have our Shine Your Eye campaigns that we've been running for 2-3 years now. It's now become a staple of what we do. There are also new typologies coming up. And we always, once it's a new typology, we usually will do a skit or we'll do something and we'll put it to the public, for people to be aware of. Right? But what I would say is that, if something smells a little bit fishy, it's too good to be true.
Yeah.
Right? Always take a step back and question it. Right? Don't jump in because somebody's saying it's urgent. Somebody's saying you will lose out on an opportunity or not. For most of the time, the person is trying to actually, defraud you and get something, from you.
Final thoughts. How optimistic are you about this sector, the fintech payment and Cash-Lite sector? Where is it going?
Look, I'm in the space, so I can't help but be optimistic, right? But apart from just being in the space, I think, the sky is the limit, right? Honestly, right? If you look, again, as I mentioned, if you look at the new typologies that are coming in, even with what we can use AI for within that space, right? Not just for even revolutionizing, how we score and how people transact, but even how we protect people from the fraud perspective, right? Which will now solidify our foundation even more. If you look at virtual assets, stable coins, right? The conversations around, the CDBCs, right? There is so much, right? And also, there's also so much that we can do for the Ghanaian people, right? Just looking at how people transact and the flaws, or let's say the inefficiencies within the system, which can better improve, especially businesses and small scale businesses, improve their profitability. There is just so much opportunity there.
Wow. We will be definitely part of the evolution. Thank you so much, Abdul-Razak Ali.
Thank you, Bernard.
Who's the Chief Commercial and Operations Officer for MMF. We've been talking about fintech payments and the cashless economy, or the Cash-Lite economy, under the week 4, Innovation, Tech, and the Future of Work. Don't forget, the Citi Business Festival is brought to you by 97.3 Citi FM and Channel 1 Television in partnership with ABSA, sponsored by MTN, Zonda Tech, and Petra Trust. Stay with us.